going on? How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a good day so far, and I hope everybody's had a good week so far because we're at the end of the week now. But some new updates on some BYU transfer portal stuff, and it is a quarterback. It is a quarterback, and it is a very good quarterback. Very intriguing, very interesting situation here. So we're gonna kind of give my thoughts and opinions on it. This will be a little bit of a shorter video, just kind of, like I said, give my thoughts and opinions. So before we do start, I do want to greatly appreciate all the BYU fans. You guys have shown me massive amounts of support on these last like 2 to 3 videos that I've done on BYU. And just letting you know, plenty more are coming. I want this to be like one of the go-to places for BYU transfer portal information because I look through YouTube and don't really see many people covering BYU in the transfer portal. And I think it's a very interesting team to cover. And like I said, I love this BYU team. So we're going to keep doing it. So, if you are a BYU fan, I greatly appreciate if you did consider subscribing. And also, before we get into it, let me know in the comments what you think about what BYU has done in the transfer portal. And let me know what you're hoping they do in the transfer portal going forward. Because there are still some holes to fill that, if they happen, we're going to talk about them and do videos on them. So, anyway, we're going to get on to this one. So, BYU is hosting quarterback Jadyn Davis, transfer from Michigan, on a visit this Friday, which it is Friday right now. So today, when you're seeing this, it's probably the day after. It's probably Saturday when you're seeing this. But BYU is hosting highly touted quarterback Jadyn Davis. So Jadyn Davis, when he committed to Michigan, he was a very, very highly touted quarterback coming out of high school. He was at Michigan. He was, like I said, one of the more highly touted quarterbacks in the entire country. And most of the big programs in the country were very high on him. He was getting a lot of buzz around his high school career, which we'll go over some numbers in just a minute. But he was supposed to be the next guy up at Michigan when he committed. And then the whole Bryce Underwood thing happened where you paid like insane amounts of money to bring in Bryce Underwood. And Jadyn Davis, unfortunately, just kind of fell further down on the depth chart there. So he's now in the transfer portal, and he doesn't have as big as a market, or as big of a market as a lot of people were thinking. And BYU just lost McKay Hillstead to the transfer portal to Utah State. So now you're looking for a backup quarterback for Bear Bachmeier. And if you're hosting Jadyn Davis on a visit, then he obviously has some interest in BYU. I think BYU would be an amazing spot for him to come in and possibly revive his career. But there are some questions. There are some questions as to moving forward. Like, what is the deal with him moving forward? And we'll get to that in a minute as well. But first off, I do want to go over some of his high school numbers because he had an incredible high school career. So his junior year, he had 3,425 passing yards, 43 touchdowns, 72.5 completion percentage. In his high school career, he had 9,300 yards, 111 touchdowns, which is absurd. He did lead his team to a state championship in North Carolina. He won North Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year. He won Mr. North Carolina Football Award. And like I said, he was just a very highly touted 4-star recruit in his class. A guy who very well could have earned his 5th star, but unfortunately just never quite got over the hump to get that 5th star, which you know how the ranking system is. It never really makes sense anyway. That's kind of why Ryder Lyons is only a 4-star. He was a 5-star until he committed to BYU. It just makes absolutely no sense. So you can't really base it off the ranking system. But I will say, here's my concerns. So you have Bear Bachmeier. He is obviously a true freshman. So he has plenty of years of eligibility. I don't know if he's going to go pro in his 3rd year and his junior year. So you'll probably potentially see him for his senior year. I would think maybe he does. Maybe he does because I think, well, first off, Bear Bachmeier was absolutely impressive. He was very impressive this year. I was a huge Bear Bachmeier fan. And I think he overachieved what many BYU fans were even hoping for. He completely shattered everybody's expectations, which is awesome. But I think his ceiling is much higher. And I think he's going to get better and better and better as he did through the year. If you watched every BYU game, Bear did get better and better as the year went on. And I think he's going to keep doing that. You know, they always say a quarterback's biggest jump is from year 1 in a system to year 2 in a system. And Bear is going into that year 2. I expect him to make massive, massive leaps. And the very unfortunate thing for BYU is there are going to be some big programs out there throwing Bear Bachmeier a ton of money these next few years. And I think BYU definitely. Well, I know BYU has the resources to retain him, and I think they will. I think Bear does love BYU, so there's no problems there. First off, we don't need to worry about that right now, but it's just kind of a domino effect to what is going on with this Jadyn Davis situation. So, yeah. Anyway, you're looking for a backup. You bring in Jadyn Davis, who is obviously older than Barrett Bachmeier. Will Jadyn Davis ever get to see the field at BYU? I don't know. I don't know, but if Barrett Bachmeier ever were to go down, I think you have a stud waiting to come in next. I think Jadyn Davis will be awesome at BYU. But if he does get that playing time at BYU, he's definitely going to revive his career because BYU has been very good with developing quarterbacks, and I think Jadyn Davis could come in because he already has that potential that's just completely untapped because he never really got to play at Michigan at all. And the potential's still there. Potential's still there. We just have yet to see it because he hadn't seen the field yet. So another question that I have is, will Jadyn Davis come in even with Ryder Lyons coming in after he serves his mission, which he is currently on right now? I do believe Ryder started his mission a few days ago in Orlando. So Ryder, I can't remember how long his mission is, but he should be on campus for at least the 2027 season, I believe, maybe even sooner. But yeah, I wonder, will Jadyn Davis actually come into BYU, although Ryder is coming in as well? So as of right now, it looks like whenever Bear's done, it's going to be Ryder's team. So is Jadyn Davis willing to be a backup? Is he willing to come in and compete for a job? Because I do think that Ryder and Jadyn Davis, if you do land Jadyn Davis, I think there will be a quarterback competition once Bear is gone. But I don't know. But anyway, he's a good backup, and if BYU can land him, I think it's a slam dunk for a backup, honestly. Especially if his market isn't big and he's just kind of testing the waters and he's okay with taking a backup job for right now, then so be it. Jadyn Davis will be an awesome pickup for BYU. And like I said, it's a guy that if Bear Bachmeier were to go down, not wishing it on anybody, but you do see how Bear Bachmeier plays, and for a quarterback, even though he is not built fully like a quarterback, for a quarterback, it is still, if you're playing like that, injury is pretty likely. And I'm not hoping that or anything, but if Bear were to go down, I would trust Jadyn Davis to come in and do a pretty good job. And like I said, you're looking for a backup anyway, so why not go out and make a splash? So yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts and opinions. I know I rambled a lot there, but yeah, that's just, I wanted to come on here and talk about Jadyn Davis being on a visit with BYU, which really caught my attention. So if you did enjoy this video somehow with a lot of my rambling, then I would greatly appreciate if you did consider subscribing to the channel. And let me know in the comments what you think of this. Let me know what you would think of Jadyn Davis coming in and being a BYU Cougar. So yeah, that's it for this one, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay tuned for more BYU content because, like I said, got a lot coming, especially transfer portal updates. So peace.